When did your roommates realize they played themselves? I was sitting in my new apartment when I got the frantic group text at 2 a.m. Where the hell are you? The landlord is here and the apartment is destroyed. My 3 roommates had finally figured out they'd been living alone for 2 weeks without knowing it. It started 6 months ago when I moved in with Alex, Mia, and Derek. They were all trust fund kids who treated our shared apartment like their personal party house. Every weekend was a rager. Every weeknight was pre-gaming, and somehow I always ended up paying for everything. Can you cover utilities this month? I'm waiting for my dad to transfer money, Alex would say, holding his $400 sneakers. My credit card is maxed from that Miami trip, but I'll totally pay you back, Mia promised while ordering $50 worth of sushi. Derek never even bothered with excuses. He'd just disappear when bills arrived and reappear with new video games. Within 3 months, I was covering $2,800 in rent, utilities, internet, and groceries, while they spent their money on designer clothes and bottle service. The breaking point came when they threw a massive 4th of July party without telling me. I came home to 200 strangers trashing our place. Someone had punched holes in the walls, and the kitchen was flooded from a broken pipe. Relax, it's just property damage, Derek laughed, stepping over broken glass. The landlord will fix it, but it gets worse. When Mr. Williams showed up demanding $8,000 in damages, they all pointed at me. She's the responsible one who handles money, Alex told him. We don't know anything about leases or deposits. I stared at them in disbelief. They expected me to pay for their destruction too. That's when I realized I was done being their personal ATM. The next morning, while they were all passed out, I started executing my plan. First, I went to Mr. Williams and explained the situation. I want off this lease immediately, I told him. These people are destroying your property and expecting me to pay for it. He agreed to remove me if I found replacement tenants. Here's where it gets interesting. I had them sign what I told them were updated roommate agreements to make things more fair. They were too hungover to read the fine print. What they actually signed were lease transfer documents, making each of them equally responsible for the full rent and all damages. I spent the next week secretly moving my stuff to a studio apartment across town. Every day while they were at their fake internships or recovering from hangovers, I packed boxes. My furniture disappeared piece by piece. They never noticed because they were too busy planning their next party. The night of their biggest rager yet, a summer send-off with 300 people. I was safely in my new place watching Netflix. They'd advertised it on social media, hired a DJ, and even charged admission. What they didn't know was that Mr. Williams had gotten noise complaints all week and was looking for any excuse to end this nightmare. At 2:47 a.m., everything went sideways. The police showed up for noise violations. The DJ speakers blew out the electrical system. Someone clogged 3 toilets, flooding the bathrooms. A fight broke out and 2 windows got smashed. Then the real disaster struck. A burst pipe in the ceiling collapsed part of the living room. That's when they frantically called me, expecting their reliable roommate to handle the crisis like always. The landlord wants $15,000 in damages and we might get evicted, Alex screamed into the phone. You need to come fix this. Where are you anyway? I calmly explained that I'd moved out 2 weeks ago and was no longer on the lease. The silence was deafening. What do you mean you moved out? Mia whispered. You can't just abandon us. But I could, and I had. They were now equally responsible for the full $3,200 monthly rent, all utilities, and every penny of damage they'd caused. Derek tried to threaten me. This is illegal. You can't just leave us with this mess. But Mr. Williams had copies of their signatures transferring full responsibility to them. You signed these documents willingly, he told them. She's no longer my problem. You 3 are. Therefore, my former roommates learned the hard way that actions have consequences. Alex had to move back with his parents after maxing out his credit cards. Mia got a job at Target to pay her share of damages. Derek declared bankruptcy at 22 and lost his car. They tried suing me, but their lawyer laughed them out of his office when he saw the contracts they'd signed. Meanwhile, I'm loving my peaceful studio apartment where nobody expects me to fund their lifestyle or clean up their messes. Sometimes I drive past our old building and see the for rent sign still up 6 months later. Turns out their reputation preceded them, and no landlord in town will rent to them anymore.